So my speech will be centralized to motivate. May be wrong, may not be 100% acceptable to you people. Because in institutions like, theoretically, you have your own themes and research and also its implications and implementation. But outside this, forget what you are now as a human being, as a citizen, as a commandment, what they do not know what you know. So how to evaluate the present challenge, that is the climate change. In our side, what for? To strive, to march on, to war, that is for climate justice. And everyone knows that you know better than me that the responsibility of global warming, the cause of global warming is fossil fuel and it's more carbon dioxide, more greenhouse gases, and for that, which are the causes? You are searching, you are the mining researchers. Research should continue. But does not mean that everywhere will be mining. Mining of bauxite, mining of iron ore, mining of chrome, mining of coal, everything will be going on. That is not what you research. Your research is how to use the natural resources, how to mining, what not to mining, the scientific process, research, everything, to controlling, everything that is good. A nation should develop it. The researchers, scientists are the real wealth of the nation, the humanity, not only one nation, but the entire globe. But when the reasons, the causes of global warming comes, what is that? That is excessive exploitation of natural resources. And through that, now say the fossil fuel is the more dangerous material that have to be stopped. So also research is going on. Also many scientific results are coming up. The new technology, green technology, everything. And that is on the experimental way. But what is the result in the field? What is the result in the field? What is the field? What is the outcome? In 2015, after the 5 findings of IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change of UNO, what the scientists suggested, predicted, basic upon that, we had agreement. More than 198 countries promised, declared NDC national determined contributions that we will reduce our fossil fuels. Within 2030, at least 45%. But in 2019, after 4 years, in Paris, the scientists have assessed what happened within 4 years. And 11,000 scientists of 153 countries, a joint letter they sent to all the national governments of the world that Paris Agreement is not have been implemented, and we are not also have any hopes that it will be. So their appeal was, at least what they promised through in Paris Agreement, and that is please implement it. 3, 4 things, 6 things they have told. I am telling 1, 2, 3 things, and I will switch over to other things. What they say in the letter? Out of 6, first they say that we have to go for further no coal burning. That means thermal power plants. You have to protect and save the forest, land, and water bodies. And third, they have also suggested that because water is more quantity of water necessary for meat consumption, then they have said to reduce the meat consumption. Fourth, they have come that you have to reduce the overconsumption. That means everybody should have minimum needs, but not for greed. And at that time also, in the same suggestions, they prescribe also, we have to reduce our lifestyle. My humble submission before you people, especially the youngsters, should we continue with this trend that more fossil fuel, more carbon dioxide, more everything through extractive industry, through excess exploitation of natural resources? That is question to you. I am not going to comment. I am not going to target politically anybody, any party, any government, or any policy. I am only speaking as a human being. It is not question of the science and research. Yes, that is one thing. We should have it. But to what extent we should have mining? For whom? What scientists have suggested, that I am taking up. Should we not reconsider that the way the global market is dominating science, technology and the development paradigm? Market has reached to the kitchen room of any rural village, including India, throughout the world. Is it possible that everybody can have a car? Everybody can have a motor car? What USA has done it? Every family have a 2, 3, 4 cars. Even our rich people, our well-paid employees, officers, authorities, they have also more than 2, 3, 4 cars. Is it possible? Even every family in India can have a motor car. Can we have petrol? Can we have also? Can we observe that capacity of carbon dioxide? No. So a few people. That is my point. That is my debate. Should we continue this process of the paradigm of development followed by us through from the developed countries, the rich countries? Can we sustain? This is not question on India. The Latin America, South African countries, they always challenge it. So we are not for anti-mining. We are not anti-mining. We don't say that no steel is necessary. Yes. But we say when we are going to mining or an extract industry, one thing that when we are mining, we are going to destroy, finish the green cover, that is forest. And when there is forest, there is a source of water to river. The rivers are taking birth from any hill or forest through springs, through streams. So that my question is, our concern is, when we go for mining, should we not calculate, should we not study, should we not have a policy that what will affect, what will have impact on river, on forest, and ultimately what will affect on the tribal people? Those are custodians of natural resources like forest, not only India, but throughout the world. The indigenous community, whether it is tribals in India, or origins of Australia, or First Nations of Canada, or Red Indians of America, or indigenous people of Latin America. All are custodians of natural resources that we are exploiting for our development. So should we not go for all these studies to impact also upon the communities, the people, the social identity, community, economic identity, and also livelihood system. So today, the environment is not only to have a plant or have a green cover. Environment itself, ecology, biodiversity, land, soil, sky, ocean, everything that is all you see in universities and environment. And that is all not linked to only the oxygen. It is linked with the livelihood system of all the creatures, including human. the creatures. And human civilization cannot thrive without birds, animals, or vegetables. So this is a challenge when we speak now. We observe World Environment Day 1972 from birds. I would like to, because within a limit, I will finish. Only I am speaking for food for thoughts. This is a new subject in colleges, universities. Just 20 years back, there was no subject in schools. But what happened? Only after 72 and Kyoto Protocol we signed in 1997, nobody followed for the USA the culprit. Even the Paris Agreement, the President Trump, he denounced. But in America, the educationists, the scientists, the teachers, the lover of science, they protested. And now ultimately, after Trump, the Biden administration again reaffirmed and accepted the Paris Agreement. So this is also a problem. This is a political problem. They are not prepared to accept the scientific finding. What science says, what scientists suggest. My question is for you. It is not today when crisis comes, just 30, 40, 50 years. Just we are seeing that, and crisis is climate change. But I will say about three people. One is, in 1964, he was not a communist, he was a ordinary man, as a philosopher, is an environmental activist also, can say, but he is a great intellectual. His name is George Parkin. And George Parkin, in 1964, he says, the earth is fast becoming an unfit home for its noble inhabitants, and another era of equal human crime and productiveness of shattered surface of climate excess is to threaten the deprivation, barbarism, and perhaps the extinction of the species. 1864, prophetically one thinker, George Parkin Marsh, he has predicted what will happen after 200 years. After 100 years. And in 1844, the great philosopher, the author of Das Kapital, the emancipator of human beings, Karl Marx, in his economic manifesto, Communist Manifesto, it is Communist Manifesto. What he says about nature, very interesting. Marx says in 1844, man lives from nature. That is, nature is his body, and he must maintain a continuing dialogue with it if he is not to die. To say that man's physical and mental life is linked to nature's simply means that nature is linked to itself, for man is a part of nature. A Marx, a communist thinker, 1844, he speaks at that time, the man and nature has to live together. If man is not to die, then he should have a dialogue with nature. Scientists have not predicted that time. And before 110, 120 years back, Mahatma Gandhi, through his Hind Swaraj, he had predicted what will be the result of the Western Industrial Revolution, and that will also destroy the earth, finishing our resources. And he said that earth provides enough to everybody's needs, not for one's greed. I would like to say before you, with humble submission, that now scientists say, their philosophers, they have predicted what human civilization will face. But the scientists, they are after the truth. So they now speak that reduce the extraction industry, reduce the pollution, reduce the fossil fuel, reduce the carbon dioxide, and reduce also the lifestyle. That means the luxury life, luxury goods, unwanted needs that have been created in economics. Classical economics we have read that demand creates supply. But today's, in a capitalistic mode of production in the world, that the supply creates demand. That means more unwanted or not needed, more goods are forced to the market, and people are pursued, they are tempted to buy the goods. That is the one of the causes of over exploitation of natural resources. That is our concern. That is the concern of scientists. That should be the concerns of every human being in the world, what to challenge the climate change and how to get climate justice. Even now, 3 billion people in the world, they are deprived of minimum needs. They are deprived of minimum needs. We say development. We have scientific method, everything, research, everything. We have communications, we have mobiles, we have everything. Okay. It is achievement of the scientists. But it doesn't mean that it should be only enjoyed by a few, a high middle class, high people. So there must be, the climate justice means the equal distribution of resources. Climate justice means only the poor people should not be vulnerable to the climate change. Even I would like to finish within 2, 3, 5 minutes. I would like to say that even we are going to have a green energy, solar energy. Solar energy, that is the resource, that is the raw material. It cannot be monopolized by anybody because it is a gift of nature. The climate justice demand that if we switch over from fossil fuel to green energy, there must not be concentration of resources, production, distribution in a few hands like corporates. It must be public goods. There must be decentralization. Every panchayat, every village can produce solar energy, wind energy, and every country should have their economic policy to change that the decentralized way. The production must continue so that there will be no discrimination, there will be no concentration of natural resources or capital. Everything can be decentralized, everything, and also the employment will be enormous. Even green technology, what it needs? Even go solar energy, wind energy. We need cobalt, we need copper, we need aluminium, we need everything. That is not solution. That is a part of solution. The solution is to reduce the high consumption, reduce high development, palatial buildings. Why man should have 400 rooms? He might have property, he might have wealth, but he has a right to exploit our resources. It is also injustice. It is a climate injustice. If everybody is a man, a car, that is by the discussion. A question in a poor country is also the question. Those have no contribution to this greenhouse gases. Why they will suffer? They say the developed and developed countries that you create the climate change and we suffer it. Similarly, a poor man is suffering. Even myself or yourself. When the use also car, the drivers also, we also emit driver carbon dioxide. A common man who is standing in the street, he is waiting for a bus, he is suffering. We have to think of it. To what extent we should use a motorcycle or motor vehicle for our necessity, not for luxury, so that at least we can reduce emission, we can also reduce inequality. So that is my submission before you. I am going to finish in 1 minute within that part, not I say, to think over it. When scientists say, in a diabetic convention in Montreal, just finished last year, what they say? They have resolved 5 goals. And I just want one goal. The integrity, connectivity, resilience of all ecosystem are maintained, enhanced or restored, substantially increasing the area of natural ecosystem by 2050. At the same time, the scientist says that reduce pollution risks and the negative impact of pollution from all sources by 2030 to levels that are not harmful to biodiversity and ecosystem functions and services, considering cumulative effects, including reducing excess nutrients lost to the environment by at least half, including through more efficient nutrient cycling and use, reducing the overall risk from pesticides and highly hazardous chemicals by at least half, including through integrated pest management based on science, taking into account food security and livelihoods, and also the preventing, reducing and working towards eliminating the plastic pollution. So this is the chemical fertilization, chemical farming is also dangerous to climate. So we have to go for resilient farming, that is the natural farming. Many practices are going on the world, but the governments of the world have to change the policy to adopt it, to challenge the climate change. Unless we have a policy. And lastly, I say that we people in India, we need a national policy of how to use natural resources. To what extent we can finish our non-renewable resources, which are finite, not infinite. infinite. A national policy needed. We have to strategize. We have to decide which material, which resources are more important for future generations that has to be preserved, protected and conserved. Because future generation has absolute right. Inherently, we are enjoying now the present generation. And the future generation is the owner of this present resources. And that is also solution, also mitigation to prevent climate change. And they say, that is why I would say, in what way we should think of it? In what way we should think about what is the crisis? In the whole world, two crises are there. To me, people like me. One is definitely climate change, global warming, and another is also devaluation, degradation of human civilization, inequality, violence, hatredness. This inequality is also the result of the indiscriminate the policies and global warming, and these two are connected. We have to finish, we have to, yes, if you want to prevent this inequality, you want to prevent and check the climate change, we must go for alternative sustainability. Sustainability means we have to rethink many things. We will have palatial buildings, we will have more cars, we will have more ports, we will have more. No. Sustainability cannot be implemented, cannot be worked out. So we have to follow the scientific suggestions. You have to find out. And also my appeal to you people also, you have to research, you have to find out really what is the alternative is, what is the sustainability is, what does it mean really. That can also give justice, economic, social and ecological justice to all the human beings. That must be a challenge before us. And I say also, love to nature is love to humanity. Those people love nature. Well, he can't be a person to hate somebody to instill. That is why I say, in our state, just with this sentence I will conclude my speech here. We have a spiritual poet, Santa Kavi, Bhima Bhoi. Bhima Bhoi was a spiritual poet born in a tribal community. And 150 years back, he had predicted what will be our society, what will be the fate of universe, what will be the fate of the nature. So he said, his version I will speak, but in English I translate it. Let the ideologies, religion, beliefs go to hell. But let it that be the land, the earth, ocean and the sky. So in his poet he says, Dharma pache ninda pau, dharani mandalaro. Dharma pache ninda pau, dharani mandalaro. Dharati akas, akas bhasi na jau. Let the religion, thinking, the ideology, whatever may be, let it go to hell. But let the earth, let the ocean, let the sky, that remain static, continue, so that the humanity will survive. Thank you all. Dhanyavad.